The Idaho Air National Guard has been flying fighters out of Gowen Field for over 70 years.
The idea of those coming in the most populated city in Idaho doesn't thrill me when they live on the flight path.
Remember that highly debated plan to bring F-35A fighter jets to Boise's Gowen Field? Nearby resident Tom Campbell there, the last one you heard speaking. Well, he was speaking a lot for a lot of his neighbors when he was worried about the noise and the disruption they would bring to those who live near the airport. Did that story back in 2019, but less than a year later, after that story, Gowen Field was left off the list of future locations for the F-35 squadron. But that worry and debate has resurfaced, this time with the possibility of the 124th Fighter Wing transitioning to F-16s. Are the issues the same as they were 4 years ago? Joe Paris found out.
A short news item from the United States Air Force will soon create big debate that may sound familiar. This week, the Air Force published this. Headline, Gowen Field Air National Guard Base to transition to F-16 mission. The release sums up the headline saying the 124th Fighter Wing at Gowen Field Air National Guard Base in Idaho is expected to transition to an F-16 Fighting Falcon mission. The Air Force says F-16s are expected to begin arriving in spring 2027 after the completion of an environmental impact analysis, which is expected to be completed in spring 25.
I heard about it yesterday from somebody that was at a city council meeting.
Idaho lawmaker John Gannon is a Boise resident. He was up front and center during the years of debate about bringing F-35s to Gowen Field. He now has similar concerns about the F-16s.
Well, I think we're going to have to be real careful as to how it fits in. If the F-16s come, that's going to raise the decibel level. We don't know how much, but it's going to raise it, and it's going to impact those who live in really affordable housing.
Gannon fully acknowledges things are very early in the process. Still, he echoes consequences from a 2015 Boise report that studied the topic and a 2019 environmental impact statement.
I'm very concerned that that we evaluate this very carefully so that we're not losing very valuable housing. We would have lost 300 homes if the F-35s had come here. And that's in their own report. That's the $400,000 city report. And so we need to be real careful.
Gannon points to Burlington, Vermont as a spot that has seen issues with homes near a Loud airfield that hosted F-16s and later F-35s.
Burlington, Vermont is a mess where they've lost at least 100 homes that taxpayers have bought because of the noise from the airport that occurred with F-16s. Now they have F-35s, and really, it's really been very divisive for the entire community.
I reached out to the city of Boise for their thoughts on the project. They say in a statement, quote, "The city wasn't made aware of the potential of the F-16 until we saw it in the news. We look forward to hearing more from the Air Force on the transition plan, the impact the planes will have on our neighborhoods, and their plans to engage the community." Again, these are very early on in the process. An environmental impact study will be done by spring 2025, and that report will provide major data on decibels and the environment. Still, Gannon suggests another ideal location for the mission.
We do have Mountain Home Air Force Base only 30 minutes away. Burlington, Vermont has no other Air Force base in the entire state. We have an Air Force base 30 miles away that's one of the best bases in the country. And so that's always there as an option, it would seem.
And I just spoke with the Idaho Air National Guard over the phone a very short time ago, and they tell me, yes, this is the plan to have these F-16s that come out to the Boise area to Gowen Field. Idaho National Guard tells me again over the phone that they are very excited for the mission, and they have a lot of experience with fighter planes and fighter pilots. And Brian, they say that this is something that they're excited to see here at Gowen, but over the next month or so is when the National Guard is going to get more of a timeline in terms of, okay, this is when this study will happen, this is when we expect to roll that out. So this was just announced this week by the Secretary of the Air Force. So it is very new to a lot of people who might have not heard about it until today. But there will be a lot of environmental impact studies that will have to go into this, similar to the F-35.
I'd be interested to know what the difference would be between the A-10s that fly out of there now. Twice a day. Back in 2019, we did that story. They were flying, 18 of these planes twice a day. What the difference would be? And I know we're still waiting on that environmental study, but If they're flying out of there twice a day now with A-10s, how much is going to change with the F-16s flying out of there twice a day?
Yeah, and based on some of the research I was able to do today, and the problem is that F-16s, there's a lot of different versions of them. Some can be louder than others. F-16s have been around for a long time, so you would imagine that the newer ones have different capabilities. But long story short, it would appear that the F-16, it is quieter than the F-35. The question is, how much louder, or what is the difference between the F-16 and the A-10?
All right, we'll wait on that. All right, thank you very much, Joe.